And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Curio. Now, Curio had me intrigued because it said not all puzzles of the world have been solved. I know that! And basically you're in Mesopotamia, and it's a real-time cooperative game in which you're trying to solve a bunch of puzzles. Well, that's interesting, especially when I saw like the pieces. I'm like, ooh, a cipher. Oh, that's interesting. How does all this work? Well, let's take a look. Alright, so in Curio, you are trying to complete a certain number of expert cards. And so each person is going to be an expert. The game comes with 5 modules, which isn't really quite true. There's a timer module here where you're moving the timer back and forth, and that module is just there to make things run faster, or to make that, oh, we got to get things done before a certain time limit. So there's really 4 modules, and each module comes with some pieces and a deck of cards. That deck of cards is going to have a bunch of stuff on it. We'll talk about that later. And then a word that you are trying to get the other person to guess. It's a 5-letter word, and so you have to get someone to get that word correctly. Then you play an easy, medium, hard, where maybe someone can get one word wrong at one point. But other than that, you're timing yourself the whole time, and then based on the number of different modules and how long it took you, you will get your final score. So the best way to show you this is to show how one of the modules works. So this is the stone module. And the way this works is the expert will have a card that they'll be drawing off top of the deck. They have a shield that you can hide that card behind. And so I'm trying to get the other person to guess this word, joked. So they have a bunch of stones here, and so I'm going to be able to give them information, and they just have to follow this information. So I'm going to say, okay, listen, you're going to get rid of all the tiles that are red, because there's this red color at the top. So no problem. They get rid of all the red tiles. And remember, we're doing this time, so we're trying to get rid of this as quickly as we possibly can. You need to get rid of all triangles and all blue circles. So all triangles, we'll get rid of all them. And all blue circles. Alright, so there's no triangles, no red, and no blue circles left. You need to get rid of every card that has the word triangle or has the word red in yellow on it. Well, here's 2 with red and yellow on it, and here's 2 that have the word triangle on it. Now I'll flip these symbols over, and now I'm going to tell them some symbols that they're going to get rid of. So you need to get rid of that symbol, and I might explain it by saying it's a circle with a line, a 7 going through it, and I explain this one and they get rid of it, and I explain this one and they get rid of it. But there are still 5 left. Well, I'm going to look at the 5 that are left here, and must have made some sort of mistake here. So I got rid of all the blue circles. I didn't get rid of the triangles. That's a triangle. I got rid of all the red. Oh, I should get rid of all the ones that have the color red on them, period. So those should all be gone. So that leaves me with 1 left over, which is this red, yellow, blue. It doesn't matter. This is the symbol that matters. This is now the key to solving this word. So I'm going to look for that symbol on this chart here, which has 2 sides. So here's the symbol. I think it's right here. So now I have this here, and now the person is going to be reading me the different symbols on this card. So they might say the first one is a U with a line going through it. So I'm looking down and, oh, okay, that's J. And then they'll say the next one has a target with maybe 2 lines coming out the top and bottom. And I'm looking down, okay, that's O. And we keep going, and then I'll get the word joked. So this one, you're eliminating a bunch of stuff, finding the key, using that key then to use this simple cipher to figure out what the word is. The wheel module, one person gets the wheel, another person gets a card. So they're going to tell you your initial configuration that you need to have this at. So they'll say, maybe there's O with a backwards 7 through it, and then the Roman numeral 3, and then the letter C. So this is where you are going to start with your thing. So the first letter in this word is 6. So I look here, and 6 is S. So I know the first letter of the word stamp here is S. Then I'm going to say rotate the shapes 4 times, because there's 4 hours there, counterclockwise. Clockwise. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then look at the word, the letter that's at number 7. So I'm going to move around here to 7. 7 is T. Then it says move the number wheel 4 times clockwise. So everything else has to stay the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it says, find the one that looks like the target with a top and bottom. Oh, here's target with top and bottom. That's A. And that's what you keep doing until you get to the word, and which the word here is stamp. For the thread puzzle, you're going to be having one of these clues here, trying to get the word. In this case, the word is nerve. And so you're going to be making intersections. So they might say, go I to 5, or 1 to 4, I guess. So I'd make that my first one. And let's cross that with B and 4. So B and 4. So I'm going to look and see where do those cross. And it looks like they're crossing here. Is that symbol on the card? Yes, that's one of the symbols on the card. So let's try I4 crossing with 4 to D, which looks like it's that. And that one crosses there. Well, that symbol is also on the card. So let's cross 4D with B4. Like that. And that crosses that symbol there. That symbol is not on the card. Yay, we found the proper symbol. So once we found the proper symbol, then you need to go through this book here, this book that's included, and find that symbol in this book. Let's see if we can find it. Here it is, right here on this page. So I found the symbol. Now I'm going to tell you the different things that are here. So first I have the word circle in yellow, which is N. Then I have a square that's yellow, which is E. Then I have a triangle, which is blue, which is R. And we keep going until we get to the word nerve. And that's how you do that module. And finally, the shape module. This one requires 3 players. So you'll play, one player will control the white shapes, another player will control the black shapes, and you are going to be telling them to put them on different pedestals, and by process of elimination, they're finally going to be left over with what's left on each pedestal, and they'll be able to spell out the word, which in this case is baker. And as I said, there's also a timer module here, and this one is just play where different players are going to take turns moving the timer back and forth without letting it run out of sand. And so that's basically the game. You have to get a certain number of these cards done as quickly as you can, and then see what your score is. The game is a little bit muddled of gray and symbols. These symbols, I mean, if you're hard of eyesight, this is really going to be a struggle for you anyway, just to look at all these different symbols and describing the symbols. And also it's, kind of a mix of colors of red, yellow, and blue. Now, I guess there's not too much mixing up of those colors in colorblind mode, but still, some of this stuff, it just gets a little hard to read, I think, sometimes, some of the words and things. So the quality of this game is not bad. I mean, it's okay, but like I said, it's going to come across as kind of like a dusty artifact, which may add to the flavor for some people. The only component I had a real problem with is occasionally you have to be really careful with these because you're never quite sure where they cross sometimes, and you got to try to maybe make your best guess, but it's usually the one that's covered up the most. We've had a few mess ups with that, and also the shields. We found the shields were really not worth it. It's just a lot easier to hold the card in your hand and not let the other person see it. Well, so that's Curio. Now, this is very similar to Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. If you've ever seen that game, it came out in 2015. It was a mix of a video game with some books and information, and basically it was the very same thing. The one person is manipulating a briefcase, trying to figure out what they're giving information. Other people are giving them information. They're trying to solve codes to figure out how to open it. This is the same exact style of game. This is a game in which you're trying to work back and forth. Now, how much you like that is going to really depend on you. This is one of those games where some people are going to like it a lot, other people are going to hate it. Okay, I'm more in the middle. I enjoyed it. I like some of the modules better than others. The one where you eliminate stones, the very first one I showed you, that's my favorite of the bunch, as is the other one where there's the 3-player and you're putting shapes back and forth. The wheel one, just a little fiddly working with that wheel, and then the crossing the lines one, these are fine and these are interesting, and technically they're unlimited. The book mentions an app. It never tells you where to get the app, the rule book, and I looked it up on the internet. I can't find it, so maybe it's not out yet. But an app would give this even more unlimited replayability if it just consistently changed things back and forth, because with these puzzles. But you're probably never going to run into this. Like, you're not going to go through this and go, what? You said that weird looking symbol's the first letter? Oh, that's caved. I know, I remember that word from last time. No, you're not going to run into that. But you are going to run into how to describe these symbols. So at first, your first times playing through this game, you're probably going to lose because you don't know how to describe the symbols. Okay, this one here is I call that one a target with the 2 lines sticking out. You might call it this with 2 legs. But after a while, your group will have exact terms for all those letters. You might say omega or vushkava, and vushkava means this one. I mean, whatever it is, once you get to that point, you're going to be much faster. And I almost wish that wasn't part of the game then. I wish that they were things that we could easily say, like star and asterisk or whatever, because that seems like an unnecessary addition to add these weird symbols that we're describing back and forth that eventually you won't need to. I think the game would have been better with just letters and numbers and maybe some other symbols, happy face, sad face, emoji type things. And I know that doesn't work well with the Mesopotamian theme. But what I'm saying is that whole explaining symbols is funny at first, but after a while it gets frustrating, and after a while you'll find shorthand to describe the symbols, so then why have those symbols in the first place? But I do think the game is fascinating. I think this is a game with very few people who will be interested in it. I am one of those people. I liked it. I had fun with it. I would enjoy playing this with a group, but at the same time I could see that most, and I have found, that many people around me have zero interest in this, especially once you add in the real-time aspect. Sure, solving a puzzle, sitting there thinking, that's the rage right now. These escape rooms solve puzzles, and even escape rooms have a timer, but not quite like this one does. It's like, no, 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 no. So if you find this interesting and you like the drab Mesopotamian garb of this, background and all, then I think that you would like Curio. It's certainly one to check out. It's unique-ish in the board gaming world. Again, remember, it's very similar to Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. It has that same kind of feeling, and it feels like you could add more modules and do more things with it. So, esoteric for sure. It says on the back, 3 to 10 minutes. Not quite true. It's going to be a little longer than that. And yeah, like I said, this time limit thing, after a while I was like, forget the time limit. It was frustrating to first go through because you're still figuring out how to even do the puzzles. And and the rule book's not very good at all. The rule book is kind of a mess, and it's not really a game, but it is a game. So those things kind of drag it down a little bit, but I still found it amusing to try out. Dice Tower Judgment for those who like quick solving puzzles.